Okay, 12:14. Gonna start in like 2 seconds. And let's get right into it. So, hello, fellow journey runners. Today is a live session. Today I'm going over the 6 main causes of running injuries. And on top of that, throughout, you can ask questions about running or walking, and I will answer those at the end of the session today. So today, again, the topic is the 6 main causes of running issues. And I know I've seen out there a lot that people are getting injuries while running, and what this is going to be is a bunch of mini series to go over injuries. What can we do to understand them, prevent them, how to handle them, and most importantly, find the root causes so that we can avoid them in the future. So anytime, please feel free to ask a question. I will look at the questions below. If they pertain to what we're doing, I will answer them then. Any other topics we can save for the end. So let's get right into it, and let's talk about the 6 causes here. And let me do. So the first cause I wanted to talk about was shoes. Why we get injured are mainly can be part of because of the shoes that we choose. And what I've seen out there a lot of times is people, especially beginners, will go and ask people what shoes should they buy. And that's sort of the wrong question. The question should be, what's the right shoe I should buy for myself? And they can't really answer that for you because you're probably thinking something like, oh, should I go with Nikes? Should I go with Asics, Brooks? Well, the answer depends, one, on your budget, and two, whether or not the shoe fits for you and what type of shoe. So ask people, or go with the popular brand instead of properly getting your foot checked or their gait checked on how they run, so somebody can assess what kind of shoe they should have. And what you'll see is if you buy the wrong shoe, you'll probably end up with lots of tweaks around your lower area and all the way up, because we're all connected in different parts. So getting your shoes right or wrong is one of the first things that I notice happens when people get injuries. The second area of causes of, or main points of causing an injury, is actually form. Not many people pay attention to form. You hear about form. Maybe it sounds a little difficult, but a lot of people understand that correct form is important, but a lot of people neglect it and don't work on it. Or even if they have good form today, something can happen, change of shoes, you fall, all these little things can change your form. So I typically see injuries when there's a lack of reassessment or even any thought in trying to improve one's form in running. The next area is having proper 3 phases of a workout, which is, what do you do when you prep for a run? What do you do during your run? And how do you recover from your run? A lot of people just rush through this, and as runners get older, we have to spend more time on all aspects of it and really take care of ourselves before we go out for a run, and before and after we go for a run, and even during. So what I typically find is maybe a few stretches you do, but if you're not fully stretching and really using foam rollers and things like that, you can set yourself up for many injuries. Also, not even knowing what your run is about. Some people get a plan. You go out there, you get a running plan, and you look at it, you think it's good, and you actually don't even know what that day may be for. Like, what's the purpose of that day? You may need to go slow, but how slow should you go? Maybe you need to go fast, but how fast should you go? Maybe you're supposed to be doing hills. How steep are those hills? And just having a plan. I mean, some people don't even have a plan, and that's the next point. But understanding the three phases and really making sure that you have a plan on how to best recuperate the body, prepare the body, and what to do during will do wonders in preventing injuries. But I find that most people don't try to rush through it. Not everybody, but running plans. A lot of people don't even have a running plan. They just go out there and just run. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're doing things like hill repeats, tempo runs, anything that causes extra exertion on the body than just a normal run, then you're setting yourself up for unfortunately, a injury. Also, I mean, when not, even if you have a plan, if you don't understand the plan, some people get into a plan and there's questions that they have that they don't know how to answer, and they end up getting injured. And even getting injured, I have what I call an IRP, an injury running plan. I have that set up before I even start my season. So most people don't have that, so they end up abandoning the plan if the plan isn't working so well. They may even abandon running overall. So having a proper plan that fits you, and knowing what to do when things aren't going the way you expect them, can really cause problems. Okay. Next. So running phases. So this can be an issue too. So in a typical cycle or season, there should be several phases to your run. Typically, I see people do 2 phases, which is get ready to run, maybe do some walk running and things like that, and then they go all out. There are many phases, in my opinion, to a good run, and not understanding those phases, when rest should occur, when should you, how do you rest during transitions. So some people just get a plan, they run the plan, how they think it works, how it should work, and they don't even understand that there are phases and what those phases mean, because each phase has a particular purpose, and not understanding those purposes can cause problems and, of course, injuries. And finally, strength. I think as a society, we're doing better in this area, but I don't think we're fully there yet. I don't see people working on their core. I don't feel that I see people working on mobility exercises, or they may even have imbalanced muscles. And understanding that and addressing those things can cause injuries if you're not addressing them. So typically, people just go out and run, and these are a lot of things to take into consideration. I understand that, and unfortunately, there's a lot to running. It's not that you can just put shoes on and go out there. I mean, you can, but it leads to there's a more possibility of becoming injured. So one of the things that we need to consider when we're looking at a plan is all these 6 things, and I'll go into them a little bit more deeper in our next session, but just keep in mind that there are 6 areas that I outlined today that can lead to injuries if they're not addressed. So, having said that, I will now look at the questions that we have, and looking at the time. I think at this point, if you have a question, you can list them. If you don't have any questions, we will just move on. And yeah, we will have the second session again next Wednesday, same time, 12:15. And in that session, what I'll be talking about is how do we address these 6 issues so that we can prevent the injuries? What things do I look for? And maybe even have you do some interactive things, like, for instance, you may want to grab your shoes, your running shoes, because we'll analyze some shoes and take a look at what things we're looking for, and do we choose the right shoe, and things like that. So this was just an outline, the main ideas. We're gonna dive in deeper on how to find the root causes and really identify potential issues and how to counter these 6 main topics. So until next time, next Wednesday, thank you for joining me, and I will see you next Wednesday. Until then, happy running.